We're here at Creek Campground, Gifford Pinchot National Forest. Let's go check out the sites. Here is campsite 1. You got your driveway, your picnic table, great grove of old growth trees. Look at that. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Outstanding shade cover. Walk over here. Got a fire pit on the other side of the picnic table. So the shade is spectacular. Looks like you got kind of a little footpath on the other side. This is right when you walk in, or I'm sorry, drive in. This is your first spot to your left. Let's go check out 2. Here is campsite 2. Get your parking right here. You can see this is the opening of the campground, Moss Creek Campground. So you walk up and you got your picnic table. Again, these incredible old growth forest trees, groves of them, absolutely beautiful. Picnic table and your fire pit on the other side. Obviously a clear area straight ahead there. That's probably where I'd put my tent. Continue to hike along. So this Gifford Pinchot National Forest in the state of Washington is at about 1,400 feet. Its main claim to fame is that it's got Little White Salmon River running through it. Because of the low elevation and the proximity to the Hood River zone, this is a bit of an old growth green area, as you can see. Typically this opens for about a week in mid-May, first come, first serve, and then it's bookable at Recreation.gov, so it's actually opening next week. I'm a week early. 1,400 feet, snow is not a concern. Here is site 3. Got your parking, pretty good shade, couple of stumps, picnic table, and fire pit on the other side. This area is very well shaded, I gotta say. It's an old growth Gifford Pinchot feel, very green, very much a Hood River ecological footprint vibe, being at only 1,400 feet. And here's site 4. 4 is very exposed. 4 is probably my least favorite so far because obviously, as you can see, here's your campground road. Here's 4, no shade whatsoever, picnic table, fire pit. And look, that's the highway on the other side. So you got road noise. Oh my gosh, 4 is horrible. I'm not gonna recommend 4. No shade, right next to the highway, right next to the campground road, not even trying to pretend to have it recessed into a shaded grove of old growth forest trees. So 4 is pretty bad. Here's your bathroom. Maybe that's in the plus column, close proximity to the bathroom. Although you got people going to the bathroom in the area, so that's poor privacy. Let's keep going. So far, it's pretty easy. Pretty straightforward campground. Here is site 5. Picnic table, fire pit. Again, I like this old growth grove of trees. Shade's decent. It's kind of right on the road here. Let's keep going. Curious to see if any of these are going to be right on the river or not. It's my first time here. Here's site 6. Beautiful forest, I gotta say. Nice long driveway, picnic table, fire pit. Not great shade. It's about 11:30 or 12 right now, and you can see the sun is right in your business. So I'm loving these trees, pine trees. I like this particular section of forest. I'm more of a pine guy than an old growth guy, so I like the forest better, but see how much sun is on this? For me, that might be a deal breaker. So too exposed for my taste. There's 5 across the way. This was 6. This was 6. Let's keep going. I will say this is Moss Creek Campground's pretty well designed, laid out. It's really easy to understand where everything is, very self-explanatory. It's not a scavenger hunt campground. Here's 7. And nice parking, got a picnic table, got some good shade, better shade over here. See the fire pit on the other side of the picnic table. Let's walk over here. This is pretty good. Better than the last few. So I don't know if there's, no, actually that's just kind of like a play area down there. You could put your tent down there, probably put your tent over here Seven's not bad, I'd say. Seven's pretty well shaded, pretty well spaced. So I did like 7. Let's keep going to 8. 7 might actually be my favorite so far. And we'll go down this road. Ooh, I can get my first glimpses of Little White Salmon River. So I think the next one's going to be right on the river. This is exciting. So here's a little side trail access from the campground down to Little White Salmon River. Let's go check this out. Ooh, that looks beautiful. Come down here. Oh my gosh, that is gorgeous. Look at that. The beautiful Little White Salmon River. As we continue to hike along. Nice, very cool little White Salmon River access zone. Down over to this side. See that crystal clear water. Sea right to the bottom. So 7 down. There are 17 sites here, so we're almost done. Pretty small campground. Here is campsite 8. You got your picnic table, parking, fire pit. I will pan over here and show you. You've got a very exposed section of the forest road. So a little fish bowl, picnic table, fire pit. Some good shade for your tent. I will say, probably the piece de resistance of this site is you're right up against Little White Salmon River. In fact, look at this. You've got your own little shoreline access. Let's go down and take a look. A little steep here. I'm standing here on the shoreline of campsite number 8, and look at this. This is premium. This is your little backyard of campsite 8. I'd say this is definitely your dominion. There's a little side trail beyond your picnic table and your fire pit, and it brings you down here. So the world is your oyster, my friend, at campsite 8. Site itself was okay, but getting this private river experience is pretty magical. Look at that. You can bring your chairs. See, there's a little access point, and then you got this area. I would probably bring my chairs, set them up right here, and just plop down and take a look at beautiful Little White Salmon River. I think for this reason, 8 is a winner. Getting this access to the river is pretty awesome. Let's keep walking over here. Step over this little section of the river. And look at that. That is beautiful. As far as this go, I think we're kind of at the edge of glory. This log at the end of the line will come in and join the perspective. Oh yeah, this is gorgeous. Probably come sit on this log candidly and enjoy the views. Deeper section here a little bit, but you're still like looking at under waist high, so maybe a good fishing zone. I don't know what the fish is like here, but this would be a great area to do some fishing if fish are going by. I gotta say, spot 8, your own private shoreline access to Little White Salmon River. Pretty awesome. As we leave campsite 8's shoreline access, let's hike back up to the campsite itself. See, it's just a few feet up this little brush area and you're already back to your campsite, your picnic table, a couple flat areas here where you can put your tent pretty easily, and picnic table, fire pit. Probably the only downside is you're right on the campground road as far as privacy, but it's a pretty small campground. I think there's only 17 sites, so spot 8, not the best as far as the campsite itself, but the access to the river is world class. Little White Salmon River, so pretty impressive. Let's keep going. Here is campsite number 9, Moss Creek Campground. Got your parking, and you got pretty good shade for your actual picnic table. Let's come around here, your fire pit. So I'll stop here. You are on the road. You got 8 right back there, which has really good access to Little White Salmon River. Got pretty good shade canopy, as you can see. Straight ahead there, that is the restroom, the commode. So that's good access. Let's go take a look and see if we have our own private access to Little White Salmon River. I do not know. This might be a side trail. I'm not gonna try to go through there. Probably doesn't really look like you have a side trail. Maybe you could bushwhack your way over there, which works, but it's not a clearly defined one, we'll say that. So maybe this doesn't have it and you got to go down to the communal shoreline area. So not as good as 8. 8's got one like right there, bang. 8's definitely the best so far as access to Little White Salmon River, not even close. As far as just a shaded one, I would say 7 is the best. But we're only halfway done. There's 17 total. This is number 10. As I pointed out in the last one, here's our restroom. Here's our campground road. Here's spot 10. Got your parking. And you've got picnic table, fire pit. Good little grove of old growth forest trees. Let's get this one has access to Little White Salmon River. Got a flat area right there to put your tent. That's probably the main spot. So again, here's your picnic table, here's your fire pit. Ooh, there's even somebody who was courteous enough to cut up some logs. Your main forest road does drive right by there, so you're going to see cars going by. Very neat little kind of hollowed out tree trunk. That'd be fun for the kids. It's a neat little feature. Yeah, right there, straight ahead is where you'd put your tent. Tent is kind of on the roadside, so there's going to give you a little bit of road noise. Wouldn't be the most forest enclosed, secluded spot, but again, I do like this little kids trunk play area. Here's a little trail. We'll see if it goes all the way to Little White Salmon River or not. Probably, but you never know. Probably the first one doing this in many months, so a little spider web caution. Okay, so I took that little trail. It goes nowhere. It does not take you all the way to Little White Salmon River. It just takes you to some logs, so that could be fun for kids to play, but does not appear to me, at least, to be access to Little White Salmon River. I don't know what's up with those scratchings on that tree. Probably not a bear, probably somebody just screwing around with a stick. So yeah, that is spot 10. So that little side trail does not, at least from my appearance, take you all the way to Little White Salmon River. It just takes you to some logs to play with. So not the best site. Serviceable in some ways. Fun trunk for the kids to play, but right on the road, right across from the bathroom. That's good. So spot 10. Okay, so here's spot 11. You got your parking right here. Has good shade. Feels like an enclosed section of the forest. That's in the plus column. Up here, it's what I call an inner sight, which generally is not good. But you can see a big spider web right there. So I'm gonna walk through any over here. I made it. Here's your picnic table, your fire pit, and you're kind of on the inner part of the forest. I'm not really the biggest fan of these. You got a good shaded area to play, like you got kids, or you just kind of put your picnic, or I'm sure put your tent either there or there, probably over there. So you got good shade, you're on the forest road. Don't really have access to Little White Salmon River. So to me, this is an inner classic forest play. Not my favorite. Probably wouldn't do 11, keeping it real. We do have a straight shot into 10's picnic table from this vantage point. Here is campsite 12. Good parking, good shade. Go up to your picnic table and your fire pit. So again, an inner campsite. Oh, I will say privacy lines, you got another picnic table right there. That's a different site. So if you weren't best friends when you started, you might be best friends by the end. For me, that's a deal breaker right there. See, picnic table right there. Here's probably where you put your tent. Here's your picnic table, fire pit. Great shade. But you're right on the forest road and really isn't a point of interest. I'm not seeing access to Little White Salmon River, so I probably wouldn't do it, keeping it real. So far, to me, the best one by far is campsite number 8. With its own private shoreline access. That's the winner chicken dinner of this place so far. As far as privacy, I like spot 7 the most, as far as just forest canopy. Here is spot 13. Looks like a water pump in blue. That's pretty cool. Here's your picnic table, your fire pit. Great shade. Old growth forest. I will say though, I think it's pretty communal. You can see you have a restroom here. Let's keep going. We got 14. Picnic table, fire pit. I'm not a big fan of this, what I call communal style area. You got like one big cul-de-sac style parking and a bunch of sites around it. For me, that is an issue. Let's walk over to 14 because I can hear the water on the other side of it. Picnic table, fire pit, good shade, good old growth. The way I would read this layout, tell me if you agree, I think that area right there is probably communal for all of these because you got 13 over there. Also, not good light lines between 13 and 14, but I would assume that all of these campsites can go access the river right there. I wouldn't view that as the domain of 14. In fact, it looks like this is probably the private access point for 14. We'll go take a look. Again, I'm the first one here in a long time, so there's spiderwebs everywhere. Yeah, that gets you down. I'm not going to walk down there because I don't really need to walk through 3 or 4 spiderwebs, but you get the idea. That's your private access point. It's not great. It's not nearly as good as 8's private access point. You do have a private access point. This is a camping cul-de-sac with 13 and 14 right next to each other, kind of the end of the road of the campground. I read this to likely be the communal area. Come down to Little White Salmon River for these multiple sites. Looks like there is a shoreline access with gravel. You can come down here. I will say there's a lot of bugs. It's mid-May. Let me show you kind of a hinky access. You gotta go down this little tree system. Not anything that isn't doable, but you just gotta watch your step. I'm gonna go down there. Gotta watch your step when you're going back up. This little section up there is the campground zone. This is the edge of this camping arm cul-de-sac, but you do have to watch your step. Run to the last two. Here's 15. And your parking, your fire pit, and your picnic table. Right on the road, probably wouldn't recommend 15. Okay, so these always confuse me a little bit. It says your campground host 17. Don't know if that means it's taken by the host or bookable, but created bookable at Recreation.gov, but what do I know? Wouldn't be a fan of this one. Wet out in the middle of the open, right next to the turnoff for the campground, so I would not do this one. So that completes my review of Moss Creek Campground. 17 sites. I thought really the good one was site 8, which has its own shoreline access to Little White Salmon River. Beyond that, I thought 7 had pretty good lot lines, privacy, shade, not really access to the river, but just a short little walk and you're next to a section. So I'd pick 8 and 7 as my 2 best recommendations of this spot.